So today, while I'm waiting on these two systems to start up so I can top off the charge on them, I decided to go over the compressor replacement procedure, what it is, why we do it, the way that we do it, and all that fun stuff. So this unit had a failed compressor in it. This one didn't. So what we can do is shut that one off. Remember, like I've said in previous videos, you have to close the valves on the unit with the bad compressor. Otherwise, now I've had systems run in backup mode for several months while the compressor is being ordered, shipped, maybe the customer is approving the quote, whatever. I don't know how long it's gonna be before I come back and put that new compressor in. So when I show up and find a bad compressor, I'm gonna close those valves, shut power off here, shut power off here. Turn power back on to this unit. Now this unit is gonna know that now it's undersized. We're down 12 tons. These are two 12-ton units, so we have 24 tons. We're down 12 tons. This one can still maintain. We have a good compressor in it. We can use it. Let's use it, especially if it's in August or December. So this one's gonna take off, and it can't do all 24 tons of indoor units. That's just how it is. We can't ask this 12-ton to feed 24 tons. So it's only gonna do what it's able to do. I believe they do up to 130% over what they're rated for. So we're not down quite 50%. So what this one's gonna do is it's going to heat and cool what it can, but certain units are just gonna have to stay off, which is better than nothing. If you wanna ask your customer, do you wanna be 100% down, or I can leave this one running and let it do its thing. It's not gonna be perfect, but it's better than nothing. If you don't close the ball valves on this one and you don't come back for 3 months, all the charge is gonna be pushed into this one, and now this one's gonna start to suffer. It's gonna be low on refrigerant because all the charge is pushed into that unit, okay? So you have to close those valves, and then this one will take off. You don't need to set any dip switches. You don't need to flip this button 14 times and get to number 67 and then flip that button another 47 times, and then 2 hours later you got it in backup mode. Just turn power off on both units, leave the one with the bad compressor off, turn the one with a good compressor back on, it takes off. That's it. You don't have to do anything. Nothing. So the procedure is, we're gonna pull this compressor out, measure the oil. Once we measure the oil, we have to see how much it is. It should be 32 ounces. If the oil is acidic, so then you have to do an oil test on it, see if it's acidic. If it is acidic, then we're gonna replace this compressor and this one, even if this one's good, that accumulator, this accumulator, oil for both, and all new refrigerant, and we're also gonna add this bypass. Okay, so why do we do that? What is the accumulator but a giant oil trap? Okay, that oil is gonna be sitting in there. If it's acidic, you're not gonna get it out of there. So we replace both accumulators. That way that acidic oil that's sitting in there is no longer in the system. They share oil, they share refrigerant, so if it's acidic here, it's gonna be acidic here. All right, and then all new oil. We have, Mitsubishi has their own oil canisters. So they're these little, maybe 1 gallon size canisters that you add oil to the system with. There's 2 ports on them, and you take it from the high side or a brand new refrigerant jug, whatever you wanna do. Take the refrigerant jug, take your hose, connect it to the oil canister, out of the oil canister into the suction side, and that just dumps the oil into the accumulator. Okay. Now, again, if you don't close those ball valves, you come back to recover the charge, that charge is going to be sitting in this unit. It's going to take you 3 days to recover because it's all in that accumulator and just piled in there. It takes forever. What that means, what happens is when this compressor dies, this one will take over, potentially run if the customer comes out, resets everything. This one's going to take over. And if you don't come out here maybe for a couple days or even half a day before you can come out and diagnose what's wrong with this one's already pushed a lot of charge into this one. So when you come out and valve this off and turn this one on, you need to be hooking up your maintenance tool to this system right here and making sure that it is properly charged. This whole system right here holds 180 pounds. I don't think that's quite accurate. That's a story for another day, but that's a lot. It's a lot more than average. So we don't need 181 pounds if this one's valved off, but it's not exactly half either. So we need to figure out, valve that one off, turn this one on, let it run, and if we need to, we can steal charge from this one, hook up your recovery machine, just suck it out of this one, and just pump it right back into this one. You don't need to measure weights, you don't need to put it in a recovery tank, just move it over a little bit at a time till it looks like it should. Then you can come back, pull the whole charge, and go from there anyway. So if you pull the oil out of the compressor and it's not acidic, but it's not 32 ounces, you still need to do that whole process where we need to replace both accumulators, both compressors, all new oil, and I would just do all new refrigerant as well. What the most likely reason for not pulling out the 32 ounces of oil is the accumulators just behind this panel or this coil right here. The accumulators have screens on them that pick up oil from the bottom of those accumulators. If you don't use nitrogen, especially during install, what do you think happens to those screens? They get plugged up. The oil cannot return back to the compressor. It's sitting in the accumulators, just piling up in there, not in the compressor where it's needed. So if you pull a compressor out and there's no oil in there, that's probably what's happening. And to get the warranty from Mitsubishi, that's exactly how you need to do it. Now let's talk about this bypass. So this bypass is on the suction side. Suction comes back. We have a valve right here that's closed right now. Suction comes back, it can't go through that valve, so it's forced to go through this high acid core dryer, and then it goes out back to the compressor. This needs to be taken out after about a week. Okay, on particular gross burnouts, I'll come back after a week, put a new dryer in, run it for another week, come back, there's two valves right there and right there. You close those ones and open the one in the middle. You don't want to flow through that dryer more than the week per dryer, like I said, because Mitsubishi says no filter dryers of any kind except for a cleanup kit in this exact scenario. What do we use to maintain the compressor frequency? TE. What is TE? TE is saturated suction temperature based off of your low side pressure. What do you think happens when that stays in the system and eventually gets plugged up, and now your TE is reading 22 because of the drop across that dryer? Now these systems are starved, they're not running properly, and you're probably going to kill the compressors. So again, 1 week. And don't be like some of the techs that I follow behind on other buildings that we take over, where they only close one valve. So they'll come down here and they'll open that one and either leave this one and this one open or just close one of them. These things leak all the time. All the time. Okay? Close that one and that one. No refrigerant should be able to pass through here. You're gonna have refrigerant in here left over from when you close those. But if this leaks, the last thing you want to do is lose your entire charge because you didn't just close those valves. So close both, open that one, and you're good. When you recover, there's no recovery mode. There's nothing fancy, no dip switches, I think there is one on the branch controller that I've been told you can go down and set a bunch of dip switches. I don't want to go find the branch controller and set up my ladder and deal with all that crap. I'm just going to come up here and recover. Plan on a day of recovery, and I've never used it. It might work, it might not, but I've never had to. Come up here, hook up your recovery machine to both high and low side ports, and pull the gas out. That's it. There's 2 sets of ports on each outdoor unit. There's 2 right here, and then there's 2 right here. This is where the line set goes to the indoor units and the BC and everything else. So if I close these valves right here, I can pull the charge from here, and it pulls it from the whole unit, but it doesn't give me access to the branch controller, the mains, this unit, everything. So in this case, this one has a good compressor, it's running. This one has a failed compressor, it's not running. The valves right here are closed. I pull the gas out of this unit, pull that compressor out, dump the oil out, test it. If it's acidic, then I replace that compressor, that accumulator. If it's not acidic and it does have the correct amount of oil, then I just replace that compressor, pull a vacuum here. Again, no vacuum mode, just shut it off, pull a vacuum on it, pull from both high and low, and you're fine. Put that compressor in, pull a vacuum on it, charge it, open the valves, turn it on. That's it. It's not very complicated at all. When I charge it, in this case, we had both of these. I had to do both sets of compressors, both accumulators, all new refrigerant, all new oil, everything. So when I charge it, I'm gonna put 75 pounds in this one. And then once I can't really get any more charge in, then I'm just gonna turn power on and I'm gonna start charging that other unit. Those accumulators are big, but I don't wanna overfill that accumulator and start getting liquid back to that compressor in our brand new compressor. So I'll jump 75 pounds in, close that one up, move over to that one, put my core tool on and start getting ready to dump charge into that one. And then by that point, the units should start to come on, should move refrigerant around, start balancing out a little bit more. And that's it. So make sure to adhere to those processes. The worst thing you want to do is change a compressor and come back a year later because it failed again. So that's it for this one. Short and sweet. See you on the next one.